Hey, Soul Survivors. We're going to talk about the narcissist and social media. And also, I know a lot of you like to share passwords, things like that. Does it really protect you against narcissistic abuse? So, starting with the phones, I know some people are like, hey, just give me your password. And that way, there's no secrets. We can, if we feel a little uncomfortable, we can look at each other's phones, kind of give ourselves a little reassurance. But there's so many apps out there that the narcissist they know how to handle it to where they can hide things. I've seen people show me there's different types of apps to where there's no way that you're going to know. There's hidden little codes, such as like a calculator. You open it up, it's a working calculator. So, unless you know like different little ways to get into that app, also a lot of them are password protected. So, it would be a different password. So, feeling that comfort that, okay, I have their password doesn't mean that you're going to have any security because the narcissist knows how to get around things. And as far as social media, they have different ways of using it. So if they don't want to post you on social media, that can be a red flag to where they're not willing to let the world know. They can come up with excuses. Now, there are times that people want to protect their family and things like that to where let's say your ex was an under or your person was an undercover cop and they just don't want the connection with the family. So there are times where it might make a little bit of sense, but if it's not a targeted type thing or there's certain settings that you can put on your social media so it's not all public. And if it's a concern, just keep it, private or to a certain amount of friends, not open to the public. So they like to, be very cautious on who they let into their social media, and they can do it because they might have more than one partner. So if you are having access to insight into their life, it can make them uncomfortable. That's why a lot of times they'll block you. You're kind of dating them. That's why be careful if you're like a mistress or mister, that it could be a red flag. Like, why aren't they letting me even be friends with them on Facebook? Especially if you're intimate with someone, you should at least be friends on Facebook. So there are different red flags that you'll see, and the narcissist will often like inappropriately other people's pictures. Now there are times where they might like somebody in the traditional sense, somebody of the opposite sex, where it's like, wow, you look really nice in that dress. But if it's a pattern, they're focusing on one in particular or two, three in particular people, or they're commenting on a bunch of bikini pictures or inappropriate type things, it can be a red flag. And they can utilize social media to find hookups and, Facebook dating or different dating apps that it's almost like going shopping for them. And sometimes the narcissist just likes to chase, or they like to have that harem to where they have a lot of people ready at their disposal to adore them or meet their sexual needs, things like that, be really careful. In today's day and age, people are a lot more lax and free physically, but there's still a lot of risks, and you can develop soul ties with people. So you have to be careful who you're sharing your soul with, because when you're intimate, that there can be a connection and thing that goes on in our mind a lot of times, that it starts developing feelings and we start wanting to be with this person, but are they necessarily wanting to be with us in a committed relationship, whether it's committed to the friendship or lovership, that it can start to cause a lot of confusion, a lot of broken hearts, and a lot of ruminating. If you've been intimate with someone, especially if it was a fantastic rendezvous to where it's always on your mind and you're craving it, you get that serotonin, the dopamine, all these different things, oxytocin that's going on, and it can be addictive chemicals, especially when it's intermittent to where you can have some consistency, some stability. When things are predictable or, but with the narcissist, there's a lot of unpredictable things that happen, inconsistencies, and that's how that trauma bond is formed. So, with social media, the narcissist, it's like the candy shop is open and they can just get those dopamine hits just by scrolling. And the more addictive people get to social media, the less they interact with their real life. So it's healthy for anybody not to be glued to their phone, because you're going to start losing yourself. You're going to start living vicariously through other people and not living your own authentic life. The narcissist likes to keep things at a superficial level. They don't like to get deep. They don't like to connect with people, because they always feel that they're going to be abandoned. And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy as they go through the cycle that they will go through. And if you don't believe that a narcissist has cycles, you can go, whether it's my channel, other people's channel, talking about the narcissistic cycle, and you will see all these people in the comment section complaining about all these things that sometimes is predictable. Mine had certain cycles. It's almost like you could set your calendar to it, that they go through like a boredom thing, or they just get irritated. And the thing that's the hardest with the narcissist is it doesn't make sense, because it would make sense, let's say if I was cheating, it would make sense to get upset with me. But if I'm not, and they're blaming you, and you can even offer proof, like, no, I was at work and here's my timesheet, and you can talk to my boss, and they're like, nope, nope. And so they start like hating you, having anger towards you, discarding you, or giving you the silent treatment for things you don't even do. And that's extremely frustrating, because they make up these scenarios in their mind. And a lot of times that's that projection to where they feel like, oh, if my boss was out of town, of course I'd leave during lunch and go do whatever. So they think if they can do it, that everybody else would do it. And so they put certain blame on you. It's almost like telling on themselves. So pay attention to what the person thinks and how they talk. There are times that people project things due to trauma. So if that was done to you, you might be hypersensitive. Be careful not to accuse somebody of something based on your previous relationships. But there are certain red flags, and relationships can get really difficult, like when we weed out our trauma and seeing what exactly is going on. But you can also see, it's interesting that women taking selfies is not so much seen as narcissistic. It's almost more socially accepted in a sense. Maybe that has something to do with more pressure on women to be beautiful, to where it's kind of like expected that, and also women are kind of on the market and the men are the shoppers in a sense. So maybe it's getting yourself out there. But a man that takes a lot of selfies, it is shown in certain research that the man that takes a lot of selfies could be more likely to be a narcissist. There are differences between men and women. You will see the shift with the gender identity stuff that's going on. I think that's leveling the playing field between borderline and narcissism. I think it has something to do with the way people are raised in their masculine or their feminine. Also, I want to do more videos on the masculine energy and the feminine energy, and how that throws things off, how women want to be empowered. But then there's different responsibilities that go on with that. Also, men are starting to become more feminine in a sense, to where it's changing the natural, it's like a conflict of the natural biology. But as far as social media, it's really easy to reach out to people from all over the world. And I was just talking to a friend of mine. I mentioned that I had a friend that was shot by her husband and killed. and he is still in the process of going to court. So guilty, but he has to go through the process, and he's out on bond to where he is able to be, I just learned, on dating apps. So these dating apps can have extremely dangerous people. There are dangerous people in the world. It's not only in dating apps, but it's super easy. They can create this facade fantasy. I also was going through Facebook today, and there's two people that you can see the mental illness. One is DRUG related to but the other one, you can see a lot of struggles in his life, and you can see it unfolding. And he used his social media to like threaten people. And when you look at somebody's social media, it can give you a lot of red flags. That's why I don't consider it stalking if you are going to go on a date with someone, to kind of get to know them in a sense, because it is a dangerous world out there. Because the things he was saying, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. The things he was saying, he was threatening, the delusion that he is under. So he was talking about this other person doing inappropriate things with kids. And he's like, I don't do that. I only beat my kids. And he like legit said that. And, he's posted about, an STD that he got, trying to hurt the other person. But they a lot of times will put all their business out there. And you could see the anger, you could see the instability, you could see the not comprehending that this is recorded. This is available to police if they want to look at it. So if anything did come of it, there's proof right there that he has some motive and could possibly be a culprit in anything that happens. And, it also shows that they have to get the last word in, and they have to they don't want to back down, and they don't want to let things go. They like to hold grudges, and really bad things can come of that. Sometimes we feel we want to be heard, or we want to make a stance on certain things. It's not always worth it. Pick your battle. So there are times that there's that reactive abuse. Is he reacting to some abuse that he has been through, such as like fighting or bullying, whatever the situation was going on? But when you keep that stuff going, it can hurt you. So let's say he was in the right. I don't know the whole story, but he's making things worse for himself. Also not thinking through it, letting the anger control his emotions. But when you see certain things like that, take it to heart. Like, is this a person that you would want to date? You can see that whether it's their fault or not, they're able to destroy their entire life over little, things. There's different ways to handle it, to where he could have reported to the police, because what he was saying the other people did with the children were terrible. Him beating them up isn't going to change what happens to those kids. Him reporting them to the police can bring awareness to hopefully get the children help, to handle the situation. There's times, it gets frustrating, but things have to be handled legally. So, a lot of narcissists will take matters into their own hands. They will think that they're above the law. And you see that too with other types of mental illness. So pay attention to somebody's social media, the things that they get a kick out of. Are they into satanic things? Are they posting videos of people getting hurt and thinking it's funny? to where you're going to get to see what their personality is. There's people who are religious and you can see it in their posts. You can also see people who are like struggling along the way to where they do like some satanic stuff and religious stuff. So you can see that they're confused on what their heart is set at. And also be cautious of what you post on social media, because prospective employers will look at that. And social media can destroy reputations, but the narcissist, they're more interested in good attention or bad attention, and they will often start to cause problems on your own page. So if you tell them something in confidence, they can stir up, triangulate on your own page, trying to get others to turn against you. Sometimes they think that they're helping you, like sticking up for you, but they're causing more turmoil. They're not looking at the long-term consequences. Comment below on some of the things that you have noticed. They will often even pick fights online. And they like to hide. They also like to, if you are discarded and they have a new supply, a lot of times they will post that they have this perfect life. What is it? Thou doth protest too much. Do they really have this perfect life? And my friend that was shot, you look at her Facebook and his Facebook, and it looks like they have this great relationship. What lies beneath, we don't always know what's going on behind closed doors. So if you're feeling a little jealous over the new supply, or wondering, why is this narcissist so much better to the new supply than they were to me? They learn the different tricks, and it can be quite hurtful. Let's say you were like, I really want to go to Hawaii. I haven't been there. But you're like, there's this one botanical garden that I would love to go to. Now all of a sudden they're going to this botanical garden that they would know nothing about unless you brought it up. So they'll use certain things that you've given them some ideas, because they know it's a desired place. And it can be quite hurtful when you're like, but that was supposed to be our spot. The narcissist doesn't have reflection on that. They sometimes do it on purpose to stir you up or to make you jealous. They can create false stories like, oh, I'm a new manager at whatever. Like, let's say they haven't had a job in a long time. They will create this image, whether it's to draw you back in, or to compensate, or to even just keep themselves busy. So they can post things that aren't necessarily true. So just because they have certain things on their social media doesn't mean that's who they are. Narcissists are really hard to know what the true person is. And I know a lot of us have been brokenhearted. We're like, I understand that they have certain things in their past. I want to be there for them. I want to work through things. But the only thing is it's not just somebody had a bad upbringing. The narcissist will bring that into your life. They will punish you for the life that they had. It's not that they're going to appreciate you and break free and grow. They need to have that sense of power to control the situation. And anytime they feel a threat of having to accept that they reacted poorly or acted poorly to something, they take it as a character assassination, and they will attack you, whether it's verbally or punish you through the silent treatment. And that causes actual brain damage. So when we're trying to save someone, the narcissist doesn't want to be saved. They like who they are, in a sense. It's interesting to say they like who they like who they are when they maintain the power. They don't like who they are when they have to either wallow in their true self or wallow in self-reflection, the things that they've done wrong or that they've hurt people, they will try to dismiss that as quickly as possible. And it's that lack of empathy. And also that lack of empathy will cause problems ongoing in the relationship. And sometimes it's so minute, but it's little jabs over and over again. It's like Chinese water torture to where it will start to destroy you. They do a lot of the gaslighting word salad. So you're always confused. You start developing brain fog because of the brain damage that's going on, the intermittent reinforcement. You never know who you're going to be with. So you're starting to walk on eggshells. It gets worse over time, and the cycle will repeat. And the narcissist will learn tactics to either hide it better or they won't even care and they will attack at a much greater strength. One-on-ones are available. Topic requests are always welcome. Let me know what you would like to hear and I'll make some videos for you. Please like and subscribe and share it. This will help someone.